You had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes. And you can count on this stream staying live here, unlike Netflix with the Tyson and Jake Paul fight. Yes, I threw a shot at Netflix on the social medias this past week, but deservedly so. But without further ado, I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way from Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Volda Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, I'm a little upset by the fact you beat me to the punch on the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson punch. I was going to make it.
Sure, that's, yeah.
But anything we've learned here in the last couple of weeks, at least for myself, for some reason I like to inflict a lot of pain. Last week I talked about not punching a towel dispenser at work. Let's just go ahead and throw out the fact that I decided to eat a sandwich with Carolina Reaper cheese on it. And let's just say I'm going through it right now. But, hey, you know what? Pain is weakness leaving the body, and I'm going through a lot of emotions right now. But luckily enough, we got somebody else that has nothing but emotions because he's a Bears fan joining us on the show.
That is true. Yeah. But, you know, the one thing I'll add to that, and I was going to tell you that's what I was going to lead off with, too, and I forgot. And I was like, wait, bang. And so, but, yeah, that's true. I mean, we can have 3 people on. We're on YouTube right now. We're live. So, hey, you know what? Netflix, take that. That's all I got to say. You suck it. And so, without further ado, yes, we do have a special guest. He is, yes, Mitch Ribby, Bears fan. He is back on MinneZona Sports Live. Claps out. Mitch, we got a lot to talk about with your Bears and everything like that. But you are in the MinneZona Fantasy Football League. You are in the MinneZona Pick'em. How are you feeling about your odds with MinneZona Pick'em and your fantasy football team in the MinneZona League? Quick thing on that. What do you got?
Pick'em. Love it. I think I'm doing pretty darn good. Every week's been a winning record, so can't complain about that. Fantasy league though, not as good. Team is just struggling. We got
Barely scraping by, right?
barely scrape. Yeah, just a lot of forgot to put Nico in last week. That was a dunce move by me. So yeah.
Nico
man,
Collins, right?
Yeah. I don't think he had a great game, but the fact that he was just sitting on my bench was not great manager move by me. I will say I'm also in 2 other fantasy leagues with one's a $10 and one's a $50 buy-in. So sometimes I try to make sure that those lineups are set, and then I'm like, crap. I have the MinneZona league too. And
yeah.
I
That's
also
going to
get-
change, Mitch, real quick. That's going to change. We are going to do a buy-in next year because of the fire sale that happened with Victor and some of our teams as well. So that was that didn't go as well as we thought. But yes, continue. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Zach sends me a trade request probably every other day. And outrageous ones, too. Just
I
outrageous.
know. I
My
know.
wife
Dude,
is
I'm
getting
like,
the-
I
my
wouldn't
wife
do
is
that.
getting the same ones. It's ridiculous.
I know.
I gotta pull one up.
He
Just-
wanted Mike Evans. I said, nah, I'm good. I
he
want
wants-
Evans. I need him. So,
it's
8
just
teams
terrible.
make the playoffs, by the way. There were some questions about that and whatnot, too. So,
Good to know.
real quick, Voldy, we have a winner for Pick'em
do.
this week.
Yes. No, it's not
Our
Mitch.
guy, Mitch tried. Mitch actually was up there. Not going
I
to
was
lie.
gonna say, my point
noticed
potential for the Monday night game, I think I was like 2 points off. I said
I think so, yep.
43 or 45, and then ended up being on the underside of it. But still, I was like, if it comes down to a tie, I
Keep
might have
going.
it.
Keep going, Mitch. You could win signed mini helmets and MinneZona merch. You're in good shape.
Oh yeah,
So
I got my MinneZona hat just over there. So
we love it.
from week
We love it.
4, week 5, yeah.
Was that week? Sure. Oh yeah. Whatever it was. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Real quick, our winner for this past week of this Percy Harvin jersey, by the way. Yes. No, that's wrong. RJ Wilson. Congratulations to RJ winning the Percy Harvin jersey. We will send that out to you. And yes, we know you are not a bot. We were trying to wondering if it was a real person or was not. He is a real person, and RJ.
I don't know who this person is.
I don't know who he is, but you know what? He's getting the Percy Harvin jersey. That will be sent out to you probably by tomorrow, and you'll probably get it pretty soon. So, with that being said, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We have Mitch on the show this week because the Vikings play the Bears on Sunday, a big matchup between teams that are, riding off a high and some that are riding off a blocked kick. We'll get to that. That was only a tease, Mitch. So we'll talk about that, talk about past games, talk about the matchup, Vikings, Bears, and then no special segment tonight, but we got ARA. We have an awesome amount of ARAs this week. NBA, we got MLB baseball with the Yankees and everything along those lines. Race to play at Yankees site. Ooh, interesting. And then first timers on the MLB Hall of Fame ballot. And semifinalists named Pro Football Hall of Fame. Some Vikings. I think there's a Bear in there too as well. I'm not sure. We will take a look.
Eli Manning's on there. That's all
Yeah, I know that. Jared Allen, our guy. So we're sitting good on that.
He was a Bear too for a little bit too.
That's right. He made Matt Khalil look like a clown. I remember that. And then we got Ray Lewis possibly going to be a coach here soon. And then, as always, a shield. Shout-outs to wrap up the show. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's do some tater-tot. Hot take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it is time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. We are first going to start off real quick with The Minnesota Vikings win over the Tennessee Titans. Yes, claps all around. I know Mitch.
Bears did it
tough.
week 1. I don't know why we're celebrating.
Well, it's 8-2. It's nice. It's nice being 8-2. I'm not gonna lie. It's quite nice. But anywho, Vikings win 23-13. People say a little underwhelming, a little bit, just a titch. It wasn't outstanding. We were hoping a little bit like a blowout and things like that. But you know what? Defense really kind of carried. You had a couple turnovers in that game against the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis, Mr. Mayonnaise guy, whatever you want to call him there. A little bit leaky on defense towards the end. The 98-yard touchdown to Nick Westbrook-Akine, 2 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown, 98-yard touchdown added to that. But Sam Darnold, our guy, Sam Darnold, Voldy, 20 of 32, 246, 2 tutties, 1 to Addison, 1 to Cam Akers, baby. So, Voldy, why don't you give us your thoughts on the game and, kind of just assess what we got going here going forward. What do you got?
I mean, you look at the contest as a whole. Darnold didn't throw any interceptions. That was a big one. Obviously, you have that lost fumble. That was kind of a... I don't know if you could really pin it on Darnold for that fumble. Yeah. Miscommunication. Sometimes that happens. That one is a bit of a, we'll put that on house credit for that. But didn't throw the ball away. That's a good thing. 2 passing touchdowns, throw that rushing touchdown on, obviously with a little bit of help from the calls by the referees there after that goal line stand from the Titans defense. But overall, people saying underwhelming, but look, it's hard to win games in the NFL. I don't know how many times I got to say it, but the fact that we're looking at, we're trying to see if the Vikings are going to blow teams out of the water, even teams that are struggling. Look, it's hard to win games in the NFL. Even the worst players on the NFL team are still the best players wherever they came out of or where they've come from at any point in their life. And I was quite satisfied. It should have been more. I will certainly say that. But when the defense needed to make a play for the Vikings, they went out and did it. And very much like how I said with the Gopher football season is going to be, defense is going to have to win us a couple of games. And it just so happens the defense won us at least this game, if not the game beforehand as well, against Indianapolis previously. I mean, the defense came through when it needed to, made some plays, set up the Vikings in some plus territory. You just wish that the Vikings could have been a little bit more opportunistic with the takeaways that they did throw out. Overall, I mean, I'm happy that they got the win. It wasn't as dicey as it was the week before, but still. You managed the ball well with Darnold there. I felt like he was a little bit more, I don't want to say he was more comfortable with scrambling around, but definitely wasn't, looking around the whole time, just wondering when he's going to get sacked. He was able to step up, move out of the pocket, find some plays, and even move with his feet also and pick up a couple of crucial first downs or extending a couple of plays. Very nice performance from him after the week before.
I like the way that Darnold, that being able to move around in the pocket. I mean, that spin move was filthy. Did you see that, Voldy, when he got out of that?
I did.
And, man, he was rolling through there. And there was a face mask. Another missed face mask, by the way. Third week in a row. They just...
rip someone's head off to get a face mask around here, apparently.
Literally. They just hate Sam Darnold, apparently.
They just hate Sam Darnold. I won't get it.
The one negative thing that I will say, not with Darnold per se, and I forgot to mention he did have a rushing touchdown as well. So he had 3 total touchdowns, which is fantastic. Jalen Naylor. There's a little bit of, I want to say, I was hoping that these drops and things like that would be kind of fixed, but it seems like it's reared its ugly head again. He's got to make that catch in the end zone. That's when the game should have been over. It should have been done with and everything like that. But, again, our defense has been very, very good. Van Ginkel had 2 sacks. Pat Jones had 2 sacks. Blake Cash Money Cashman, had a sack as well. They got to Levis a lot. And QB hits for Pat Jones, he had 5. He was kind of quiet these past few games. But he has had that resurgence. So claps out to Pat Jones. Very underrated pass rusher here for our Minnesota Vikings. So hopefully he can keep that up. Defense was great. Dirty Harry, I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer.
For sure.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Had the pick at the end. So, overall, I thought they played good enough. And Darnold showed, hey, I got the message. This is how I'm going to respond. And he responded really well. The fumble, from what I hear, it was kind of on Jones from what people were saying, because I saw it, but then I wasn't 100% sure since I didn't see the full play. But I would say, with that, I'm not too concerned about that. If we don't turn over the ball, we're in good shape, because when we turn over the ball, we're driving, right? So. So that's kind of sums it up right then and there. Jefferson had 6 receptions, 81 yards. Not bad. I mean, it's not like it's he had a touchdown that kind of fell out of his hands there and whatnot. But hopefully against the Bears, that's a different story. We shall see. But Jordan Addison, I thought, played really well. He had a little bit of cramps issues at the end of the game. Seems like it was just only cramps. But very good through the passing, receiving. Rushing, not great. Aaron Jones, they're only 39 yards. Cam Akers, 25. 18 for Sam Darnold. Total 82. You want to see that up a little bit, but they got to get it right against the Bears here. So, all right. With that being said, Vikings move on to Soldier Field, as Mitch has in the background right there. So, Mitch, I don't want to be the guy to say, well, you're losing a game against a team that we both don't like. We don't both like. They're a team that we look at and discussed. We hate them. We don't want to be around those guys at all. Just kind of give me your thoughts on that whole situation this past week against Green Bay. The blocked field goal, which apparently should have been flagged, by the way, from what I heard.
Did you see the guys climbing over the center?
Yep.
I thought that was very clearly established at the beginning of the year. That's not allowed. Apparently,
Packers, they wanted the Packers.
People.
It's true. That's just how it is. But, just kind of give us your thoughts on that game real quick. What do you got?
Yeah, so overall, I really liked what the new play caller was able to put together for Caleb, and the way that they pieced together drives, and just the way he was able to convert on 3rd and 4th down. Like when we didn't see a lot of 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s. It was a lot of 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, which are a lot easier to manage. And, if we only rush for 2 yards, then it's a 4th and 1, and you convert that just with how they started utilizing Caleb's legs. And I really think that Shane Waldron, I don't know if everything can be put on Eberflus, because going into the season, he was the big reason we kept him was because big locker room guy. Guys loved him. He really gelled the locker room together, which I then think it was more on Waldron and lack of preparing in the offseason, because technically we couldn't give Caleb the playbook, but we could, talk to him and be like, what do you like to run? What's your style of offense that you prefer? And Waldron should have taken the offseason and instilled that more. But instead, there were reports from Allen that guys were just being lazy during OTAs, and training camp was very loose and very hee-haw, like this is going to be fun type situation, and not a lot of discipline. from Waldron. So there's a reason he was ran out of Seattle and again in Chicago. Like that was bad, just trash.
So let me. It seems like them getting rid of Waldron was something that was kind of in the works. But I also have been hearing some things from DJ Moore. And DJ Moore, it seems like he's not happy with Eberflus. He's not happy with where things are going. But he actually had a pretty good game against Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, what do you got?
I'm sure he had his hesitations going into the season of just, what are we trying to do with this young quarterback? Is he actually the guy? I don't know if we should be starting him, but, that's – and Eberflus he's a defensive coach. So already he's at a disadvantage. And the fact – it gets me so mad that we interviewed 3 pretty good offensive coordinators going into the offseason, and we went with Waldron over Cliff Kingsbury. I swear to God, Jaden Daniels is having the season he's having because of Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury was Caleb's coach. Like, why did we not go with that guy? Why? What in the interview did he say or do that we're just like, yeah, no, we don't like that guy. We're going to go with the 2017 pro-style offense from Shane Waldron, who won't change freaking ways. Sorry, I have a super disdain against Shane Waldron. I don't know if you can tell.
I can tell. I don't know if you guys can. I can.
Just dumb. Like, what were we doing for the first 10 weeks? Baloney-ness. That's what we were doing. We were just standing around, looking at each other like, yeah, we got a pretty cool offense. Let's not do anything with it. We have this generational quarterback. Let's piss it down our legs. And Eberflus isn't doing much to help it either. So my leash is pretty short with him. I do think if he doesn't do something to really rally this team in the locker room, I don't think the Bears won't fire him mid-season, but he won't be around going into next offseason.
No.
He's got to do miracle work. Basically win out, have the Packers, Lions, and Vikes lose out, and we sneak into a wild card spot or somehow take the North. But that's the only way he keeps his job. If he doesn't win the division, he doesn't keep his job.
I don't see that happening.
Given every opportunity, he's like, all right, we got you, your guy, just got rid of Fields. And the GM for the Bears have done so well and set him up for such success. Why did you not succeed as the head coach? Like, any other offensive head coach would have – I wish we had Kevin O'Connell. He would have done great. He would have done fantastic. And nope, we just are like, well, let's just F around and find out how much we suck.
Well, and I say, like, we'll get to the division in a second.
There were moments in that game against the Packers where the Packers have a great defense, right?
Yeah, they're okay.
So I'm pretty sure they lead the league in turnovers.
Meh.
Well, the Vikings do. I thought they, but
maybe
they have a lot of turnovers, but
maybe it was specifically interceptions. Then.
But they're good. Yeah,
they're a good defense. Like, it's not like where Caleb was going against Jacksonville or Tennessee or New England, who he looked trash against.
That was bad.
Caleb looked like the generational quarterback that he was supposed to be in the number 1 overall pick. Like, he looked like he was commanding his offense and putting together drives and, going through progressions and not being like this skittish mobile quarterback out of college. He looked first, second, third read. When that wasn't there, he took advantage and went and, gained 5 yards and, put us in a manageable third down position. But just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Eberflus's leash is short. Can't F around anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, this game is key for Chicago if we're sitting in their shoes right about now. you saw the improvement. There were people that were talking about the improvement with how Caleb played against Green Bay, which I thought he played pretty well. They were able to use the run, and by the way, DeAndre Swift is on the Chicago Bears, by the way. Mitch, I don't know if you knew that.
He is.
Okay, good. Gotcha.
Surprise.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. But they utilize the run game. I mean, their defense is still quite good. I'd say so. And but I think the O-line too hasn't been great. There's been guys coming in and off the injury reports, and it hasn't been in his favor per se. But there's going to be change whenever that happens. Whenever you fire an offensive coordinator, there's going to be some different things and whatnot that they'll do. But going up against this Vikings defense, this vaunted of Vikings defense, who again I think are better than the Packers. I will say, Mitch.
You guys have Brian Flores that can disguise a defense so well, and I think that's Caleb is gonna struggle with that. I just straight up gonna be honest, like rookie quarterback against a veteran defensive coordinator, once was a head coach in Brian Flores' defense, and with Van Ginkel and all of your guys' defensive pieces, it's gonna come down who can win the defensive battles, I think, because not to crap on Sam Darnold, but he hasn't been great with the turnovers lately. And we're no Packers defense, but we definitely know how to claw a turnover out when we need to get Caleb back out on the field.
So I want to get to Voldy here because I think with this matchup, we're looking at, okay, what does Chicago do well? Well, one, their defense, they can cause turnovers like you just said, Mitch. They have a pair of running backs that are relatively good, I'd say, Johnson, DeAndre Swift, and then obviously the three-headed monster with Odunze, Allen, and Moore. Now, with that being said, Voldy, for the Vikings side of things, approaching this game offensively, having the game that you did against Tennessee, and the history at Soldier Field, too, hasn't been great. We can talk more about that in a second. But what are you kind of looking at in this game here with these two teams? 4-game losing streak. Vikings on I think it's a 4-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. Because the Colts, and then the Titans, then the Jags. Okay, 3-game winning streak.
3 games, yeah.
So what do you think? Where are you at with this matchup here?
I just see what the Bears have really done, and you look at, they're 3 plays away from having 2 more wins in the win column. Obviously, we go back to the game against Washington with, of course, the Hail Mary, but the play before that as well to get that extra 12 yards to make it Hail Mary worthy on top of that. And, of course, the block field goal this past week against the Packers. Those 3 plays have taken 2 wins off the board for the Bears this year. So they are, as streaky as a team can really be with a rookie quarterback. Offensive line has broken down in a couple of different areas, but a quarterback that can kind of, really scramble around and try to make some plays down the field. That's something that the Vikings have kind of struggled with in seasons past, if you will, even last year against the Bears with Justin Fields. Justin Fields looked like Michael Vick it was either Sunday night or Monday night at US Bank Stadium, and he was just going down the field relatively easily and just throwing tuds left and right. And I'm just like, really? We're losing to Justin Fields and the Bears? Like, I don't get it. Even the time before that with Mitch Trubisky, and the time before that with the quarterback who shall not be named, Jay Cutler, I think it was, or whoever. Just the Vikings have the weirdest luck against the Bears. It's literally either a complete blowout by one of the two sides, or it comes all the way to the very end, last second field goal, game-winning touchdown in regulation or in overtime. There is no in between. And I feel like with this matchup, Vikings are going to have to work and really stop the run against the Bears with Roshan Johnson and obviously DeAndre Swift. They're really going to set that up, but also find a way to keep Caleb Williams preoccupied enough so that he doesn't scramble around enough to find, receivers down the field. And that defensive backfield is going to have to be stuck on those receivers like crazy, because if that scrambling does continue, it's only going to benefit that receiving core, because we saw some plays in the game last week with Rome Odunze for sure finding some big catches in that contest against the Packers too. So those are a few things I'm looking at.
Real quick, since you mentioned Soldier Field, the Vikings have had success at Soldier Field these past few years now. Which begs the question, and I asked this of you, Voldy, then I'll ask Mitch here. But would you say, in the lower third, I have it down here, would you say the Soldier Field curse is over for the Minnesota Vikings? What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say if it was, because last year was literally, week 18? We're just here for the hell of it. Was it Nick Mullins versus whoever the back was? It Tyson Bagent or whatever? It was Bagent versus Nick Mullins or Jared Hall at the end of the season. Like, nobody cares. Like, we're just here. We're here to get our game check. Hey, we're just putting on tape for next season. Like, obviously the Vikings won, which was great, but even on top of that, like, there's something weird about that place. It's either 1,000-mile-per-hour wind, or the grass on the field is dead, and it's, there's just no real good field conditions there, and the Vikings still find a way to not win. It's not so much that the stadium is cursed. It's just as soon as the Vikings walk in, some weird stuff happens at that place. I want to say the curse is over with a win after last year, but I don't know. That Chicago effect does things to people, man.
Let me throw it this way. The Vikings actually played the Bears on the 15th of October last year, and they played against Justin Fields. Justin Fields hurt his hand.
I was probably it was 2022 then, because I remember it was like one of the last two games of the year.
That's when 13-4. Yeah, that's when we were 13-4.
Yep. I was gonna say, we're just here for the hell of it. We're getting ready for the playoffs. Bears got nothing to live for. We're just here. All that fun stuff as usual.
And the defense created a lot of turnovers, and that was Flo's first. Obviously, his first year as the coordinator, and then the Bears beat the Vikings on the 27th of November, 12-10, which Josh Dobbs was terrible that game. But it's true. It was. But the Bears won, so that is what it is. So, Mitch, I asked this of you, Vikes. Would you say that the Soldier Field curse is over for the Vikes, or is it gonna continue to live on, even though the Vikings have had success at Soldier Field as of late?
I think it still lives on. So. Yeah.
Continue,
man.
Continue.
Kirk Cousins used to play really bad at Soldier Field, and they
did.
always put him in a primetime spot at Soldier.
Yes.
And he would just look awful, just the worst. We'd sack him so many times. He'd fumble, throw interceptions, seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold. But, as of late, before he went to Atlanta, he definitely there was a primetime game that they had at Soldier Field, and he looked like Kirk Cousins of late. Just pristine, buttoned up, just the quarterback that you're paying a ton of money to, and he's totally worth it. But with Kirk gone, I would love to see Sam Darnold play at Soldier Field. I think it's a noon kickoff.
It's a noon game, yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got that benefit.
Dang it. It'd be great to get Darnold under the lights at Soldier, but it'll be fine. It's cold now in the Midwest. It's finally windy, snowy conditions. To really finally get to take advantage of being an outside field. None of this dome crap like Ford or U.S. Bank Field has. So you got to really play in the elements, earn the W. So I I don't think the curse is broken yet. So until the Bears organization decides to move off the lakefront and over to Arlington Parks, Vikes.
It'll
good
be
luck
maybe
with-
different.
Yeah, it might be different, but
We'll
until
see.
then,
At
We'll see.
Northwestern's
We'll see.
field for the year. So I mean,
That's right. That's right.
Right off
You
the
never
lake
know.
there.
Yeah.
those concepts for that field's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Yeah,
will
it is.
say Northwestern did a bang up job. That looks pretty sick. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's like a lacrosse or a soccer field over there, but hey, it'll work for the time being.
It'll work. Just to go over kind of the injury report, I'm just, since we're going to be, talking about this a lot, this is interesting. And for the Bears, Tevin Jenkins, limited participation in practice. And then DeAndre Swift, dealing with a groin issue, did not participate in practice this past week. If he doesn't tomorrow, Mitch, I don't know.
Wait,
Elijah
DeAndre Swift
Hicks
plays for the Bears?
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Know your team. Know your team, Mitch. Come on.
Yeah.
Elijah Hicks ankle did not participate as well. Ryan Bates concussion did not participate, and Kiran Amajadaiye or whatever calf did not participate. You tell me. But Gesundheit.
Not a lot of our big name guys though are on that list.
Besides the DeAndre Swift one, that's it. That's an eye opener.
Good one.
That's an eye opener.
I would say though, Roshan Johnson, sneaky good running back.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now that Khalil Herbert is a Cincinnati Bengal, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they need a running game bad.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Herbert, so I was
Yeah,
sad
he
when
was
I saw
good.
that trade. Yeah,
I liked him.
Herbert.
Herbert. So, Voli, so this game that we got going, and we might as well just give our picks here because
Let's do it. I'm ready.
It's time to get rolling. Since Mitch, you are our guest, it wouldn't be surprising if you took the Chicago Bears. It wouldn't surprise anybody since you are a Bears fan, which is fine. But I want you to give a score, though, too. If you are taking the Bears or if you're taking the Vikings, we won't question your fandom, but other Bears fans might. That's for sure. But, Mitch, who do you got winning on Sunday?
I got the Bears winning. I really do think that Soldier Field curse is going to hold up. Yeah. I think the score, though, that's the tough part. I think it's going to be 28-27.
Close one.
Regulation. Yep. There's going to be another missed extra point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm hoping that the Vikings just shank it left again because they really like.
You're a funny guy, Mitch. You're a funny guy.
Funny.
As long as we don't double doink anything, I'm okay. I'll be.
Yeah, careful. You have the double doink now. That's a good point. But we haven't had success with our kickers. So,
27, close game. Definitely.
I'm surprised the amount of points. That you're going with, to be honest. Because again, every matchup I feel like they have, like you score one touchdown and then a couple field goals. That's it. It's crazy with these matchups, though. Wouldn't you agree? A lot. It kind of seems like that every time they go to Chicago. Vikings only put up a field goal and a touchdown.
Yeah. I think new offensive coordinator with only a week's worth of game film. Vikings defense is going to struggle to stop Williams and them, and Eberflus is so worried about losing his freaking job. He's not going to be with it. So KOC is going to run the table with him. Going to make Darnold look like a Hall of Famer. But
fine with me.
Vikings kicker, that's what's going to nail in coffin. It's going to be like on the second touchdown, too. Going to miss the extra point. And then
Okay.
Hey, that means we scored 2 touchdowns, so that's already 13 points. I like it.
Voldy Mitch is gonna love this comment. All right. So on the comments, by the way, I didn't see this until now. Vikings to the bowl, says M Stig 43. I know who that is. All the way. Let's go. Skol, baby.
Who is that?
I know that is Mr. Max Grabo. That is Mr. Max Grabo. So
our
he's
dude,
that's our guy from Coolest Sportsman, who maybe we will post at some point. Okay, Jason has a really. I'm just gonna say it. Bears are absolute trash. Caleb has more painted nails than TD passes this year.
Jeez Louise.
Did you see the thing that somebody had posted saying
Oh.
that Caleb Williams, it was either last week or the week before, dressed like a bisexual archaeologist?
Oh my
God.
I did not see
It's
that.
like, that's funny, and it's true. It's questionable. He's a spicy
not.
boy, I tell you.
He does get zesty. I will say that.
Zesty. There you go. Spicy, zesty, saucy, whatever it is.
Oh my gosh, Jason!
The
I
Mahomes
just
effect, I
that was the whole punt thing too. I mean, have we forgotten that as well? That's.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
I'm
trying to
sorry,
forget that.
Mitch. It's up for absurd statement. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's you can't be. You're not going to be punting much. He has more punt yards than Caleb has total yards in general. That's that.
Not a great look by Caleb. I'll say that much. That one was ballsy, and I respected him for it. I was like, yeah, damn right.
Fair enough.
You're gonna have way more yards than our punter.
You said 5,000 yards too. Remember that? You said 5,000
Yeah.
yards.
He's got a ways to go.
He's got
a lot of 500-yard games in the future for Caleb. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I got you. All right, Voldy, who do you got? Score. Go ahead.
I got Vikings winning this one. I am going to say, just given the fact you can't, I mean, with the playmakers that the Bears have, you can't keep them on the scoreboard for too long. But I'm going to say 28-17 Vikings.
That's all we got to say. Yeah. Mine's kind of similar, but here's what I want. I have an issue, just a little issue with Mitch's assessment. You said that Coach Flo's going to have a hard time with that offense and Caleb Williams. Listen, Coach Flo has gone up against some of the best offenses this year.
Yeah.
But the Jets were trash. But I was going to say Rodgers, your guy Rodgers, but and I'm joking on that. But Brock Purdy, Niners offense, pretty good. You know, not. I mean, they're treading water a little bit, but that's okay. They've dominated. They dominated the Giants, dominated the Titans, dominated the Jags. Defensively, I'm saying, not just from the score and whatnot. You see, Coach Flo, I think, is going to be a nightmare. Caleb Williams is going to see things he's probably never seen before. And, you know, he might have some success here and there, but Coach Flo, he's always waiting, always ready to cook. Now, if we have an instance where they're scoring a 98-yard touchdown on us for some weird reason with Metellus, I don't know what the hell he was thinking on that against the Titans. But here's what I'll say. I think the Vikings will get this game going early, get the lead like they did in Tennessee. I'm hoping that they can at least, 17-7 or something like that up on the Bears. Get that big lead. Maybe the Bears come back. In the second half, they score a touchdown, 17-10. I am going to go 24-10 Minnesota Vikings, #Skull. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like the offense is starting to kind of get going. I believe O'Connell still wants to run the ball a little bit more. I believe that Jefferson is looking for that breakout game. And I think they're going to try to get the ball to him. I know the Bears' defense is very good on the pass. You got Jalen Johnson and everything like that. But Addison's starting to get going now. Hawkinson's starting to get going now. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of weapons you can get to. Cam Akers has been running the ball fairly well as well. And the Vikings have been causing turnovers. And the pass rush, looking good with Gink. The Ginkster, and
Eagles very good.
Yeah, Bernard and Pat Jones and everything like that. So, yep, 24-10, Mitch. That's what I got. So I don't
only
know.
giving us a field goal and a tutty.
Yeah, man. I think that Coach Flo defense is going to get you. That's just
touchdown.
rushing touchdown. DeAndre Swift. Wait, is he on the team? I can't remember.
I think he is. Maybe.
Okay,
Give it to
that's what I
Roshan.
thought.
Give it to Roshan.
I like Roshan.
Roshan, yeah. Give it to Roshan. Let's see.
We know
Let's
he's
get
on the team for sure.
yeah, that's for sure. Too.
Oh, man.
So, Mitch, before you go, so I went back to our NFC North preview, which was a blast, by the way. We'll definitely do it again this upcoming year because that was awesome. You didn't have that, like, people like, oh, I can't wait to see how many absurd statements he has to this. You don't really have that much. You really don't. You took the Bears to win the division. Well, that didn't go as well as you thought. Caleb Williams.
We're not out of it yet.
Yeah.
Mathematically, we're not out of it yet.
Mathematically, that's true. That's
They
true.
still haven't played a division game yet, so
That's
yeah,
right.
They aren't out of. They could go 6-0,
They could. They could.
and I could also win the lottery tomorrow. The numbers are not in their favor.
Yeah, there you go. So, Mitch,
mine.
okay, NFC North redo. Would you like to do a redo, or are you going to keep it as is?
No, I don't think the Bears win the North. We got a lot of work to do. I was blinded by Matt Eberflus's haircut and all of the weapons we signed. So, a lot of work to do. Coaching staff needs to figure out what's what and what way we should be running the ball. Not sideways. We should run it north and south. So I do think the Bears go back to the cellar again this season. I do think we finish fourth. I will say, though, the NFC North is arguably one of the toughest divisions.
Yes.
I know a lot of people say the AFC North is in discussion, but I'm like, really?
Nah.
There's a lot of firepower in that NFC North team.
The records aren't that good. Or besides the Steelers, I mean, but yeah.
Yeah.
Ravens.
So I think Bears fall to the cellar again. I think the Lions take the North. They just look so good. I'm really scared to play the Lions, but I also want to see how many points they put on the Bears, just so I can know like how bad our team is. Because our defense is pretty good, but like how good is it? Is it like 25 points for the Lions or 70 points? Like how bad is it? So, I think the Lions take the North. It'd be really cool to see 3 NFC North teams in the playoffs, just so the world knows like how good the North is and how cutthroat it is up there. So,
Lions, and then who do you have after the Lions?
Packers, Vikes.
Wow. Come on, dog.
You're going to take the Packers over the... What? Come on, Mitch.
Dog? What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Jordan Love looked really good. And Josh Jacobs looked really good.
Well, Josh Jacobs does look... I'll give you that.
I'll give it.
He runs with the speed of 5 men. And Derrick Henry runs with the speed of 10 men, but 5 men is still a lot.
Let me say this, and the Green Bay hasn't played Detroit yet, right? If I'm not, no, they have, they have, and they beat them pretty handily. The Vikings were close. I mean, they should have won that game against Detroit.
Should have won, but they didn't. So.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and there's that.
One first down away from winning that game.
And the Vikings beat the Packers in Lambeau, by the way, too. So.
Boom.
Just
When
saying.
you guys, is that a Week 18 matchup at US Bank for Packers Vikes?
I believe it's the Lions
Yes.
actually.
That's Lions and that at Lions
For
and
the
then
division.
before that for the division rematch in the Motor City. But that's okay. It's fine. We don't agree, but that's fine. That's fine.
I just watched the Bears lose a solid, like a 99.9% chance of winning a freaking game against the Packers. And Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. And then, we pissed it down our leg because we don't know how to run a last 2-minute offense to set up our kicker that prefers the right hash. But no, let's set him up on the left hash, even though we have 30 seconds left and we're just going to stand around our dicks in our hand and just be done. God, sometimes Eberflus is an idiot too. Golly. And the Washington Hail Mary, don't even get me started on that. Oh, we trust our defense. We can let them have 12. No, you can't, my guy. No, you cannot.
My guy.
Oh, Eberflus drives me nuts. But that's why I just watched the Packers dismantle us in a guaranteed win in Lambeau, or not in Lambeau, at Chicago, and it over 10 games. You know, we're gonna break the streak finally, but no,
That was an A. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was an A+ rant. I mean, that was very good. Claps out to you, Mitch, for that. That was very very well put together. So
thank you. Eberflus make my blood boil.
And again, I don't blame you because the Hail Mary was shocking. I mean, like, I felt bad. I sent it to you. I wasn't trying to make fun of you or anything by any means.
Oh, there was a lot of people that texted me.
I was shocked.
Dude, I'm sorry. I was
like,
what happened? Like, I don't think I was even watching the game. And then I saw highlights.
Tyreek Stevenson. I'm talking all this smack. Yeah, we beat you guys. He's the one that tips in and they score.
Yeah.
Oh,
my guy.
Wait till the game's over. Wait till those zeros hit zero. Get the game over with. Ugh. Anyway, this was a blast, Mitch. We appreciate you coming on here talking Vikes Bears. We'll see who's comes out victorious, but we'll be talking probably during the game, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
lots of
should be a fun matchup.
And, of Vikings and then skull emojis. And then bear down.
Yeah. Skull. That's all I gotta say. Let's go. So, Mitch, we'll be talking, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. So, appreciate you coming on, man.
You bet. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. All right, it is just you and me, Voldy, and thanks to Mitch. That was fun. He's probably wrong about the Bears beating the Vikings, but we can. Yeah. We'll just prove it on Sunday. That's all we got to do. We just prove it on Sunday. So, thanks to Mitch. We'll be, like we said, we'll be talking with him and everything like that. So, with that being said, let's get to our ARA. We got a lot of stories to get to, a lot of cool stories. Inside the NBA finally finds a new home, and we'll talk about that. We got some thoughts, obviously. The Rays to play at Yankees. What's the ST again, by the way, Voldy? I just
Spring training.
Spring training, thank you. Yankee spring training site, interesting, obviously, with that whole hurricane situation that happened with at the Rays Stadium. First timers on the Hall of Fame ballot for the MLB. We'll talk about that. And semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We've got some names that we got to talk through with that. Ray Lewis, FAU coach. He's getting into coaching. We'll see. So, let's get it going with some observed or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
And for those that have been tuning in tonight and see me do this quite a few times, I'm actually watching Granite City Lumberjacks are in action tonight against the Wilmer Warhawks. They're up 2-1 after one. So if you see me do that a few different times, I'm just keeping tabs on the squad there. So I'm not disinterested from the show here tonight, just keeping tabs on the boys over in Wilmer. Now, with that being said, we head to the world of the NBA, and a stalwart of a program that has been part of NBA programming for a number of years inside the NBA has finally found a new home that will be on ABC ESPN for the time being for the 2025-26 season. That will include featuring on ESPN and ABC with the crew of Ernie, Charles, and even Kenny and Shaq that will be appearing on those programs even after being on TNT Sports for the longest time. Now, with that all being said, are we saying that people are going to be losing their jobs? According to Charles Barkley, nobody's going to be losing their jobs. TNT Sports will continue to produce inside the NBA as part of the agreement, but as part of that sublicense, ESPN will be handing over the rights to 13 Big 12 football and 15 college men's basketball games through the Big 12 conference upcoming next season. So with that all being thrown into it, ESPN's also going to continue with NBA Countdown and NBA Today. Now, with all that being thrown into it, of course, the squad still remaining the same behind the desk. Is it absurd or approved? Will the NBA, or will inside the NBA, continue to carry that same luster as it did previously?
At first, I thought, oh, wait, hold on. There we go. There he is. It's that time. Tate has joined the fold. So, yeah, I'm glad because at first, when I saw this, like the headline, I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh, God, are they not going to bring back those guys? And then, obviously, when you click in the article, no, they are. They're bringing, Ernie's going to be back, Charles, Kenny, Shaq. I mean, you need those guys on that. And they understand that. So shout out to ESPN for doing that. There's a lot of issues I have with ESPN. This, I'm not too peeved about. So the good news is that you have those guys, and they know what this means to fans because obviously, my dad, Papa Callahan, isn't a huge watch NBA guy or anything like that. But I swear to God, he will hop on an iPad and he will watch just the antics between Shaq, Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie. I mean, it's insane. Yeah. It's so much fun. And he gets the biggest kick out of that. And that is so big to have those guys back for it, and it seems like they're keeping, people aren't going to be losing their jobs, which is fantastic. We don't want to, see that, people losing jobs and whatnot. So this is big. This is really big, and obviously ESPN has the right, or has it all figured out, and, ESPN, ABC, that whole ordeal. So, yeah, I think it will still have the same, I think it will have the same aura and stuff like that. I just think they're going to say, look, you do what you usually do. We can add in some stuff if you'd like. We're going to go from there. So, yep, stamp of approval on that. What do you think, Voldy and Tate?
I find it interesting that ESPN's also going to continue on with NBA Countdown and NBA Today, which is kind of the same thing. I think NBA Today is going to a little bit more like kind of day-to-day coverage. If not, I don't know. I don't watch that. Maybe NBA Countdown if I'm really bored, and I'll maybe put that on for a few minutes. But inside the NBA, I'm just like Pop Callahan. I'll watch the antics between the fellows, see the clips online, and just all the craziness that they get themselves into in the last year or so. They've gotten mixed up with the guys with the NHL, of course, Liam McHugh, Wayne Gretzky, Paul Biznasty as well. Those guys, it's just been really great. I'm just sad that we won't be able to see that as much because TNT is switching over to the NHL side of things, a little bit more focused on that, and the NBA contract coming to an end after this season. But it's great. Having those four guys together is simply fantastic, especially with the different personalities they all have, and still find a way to break each other's, to bust each other's chops every once in a while on the show. I think it is going to continue. I just am wondering how that's going to play into NBA Countdown and NBA Today with those guys, if that's going to still be able to carry the same meeting as it did in years past. But, I mean, for right now, it's definitely got my stamp of approval for sure.
Let me add one thing. I'd like to see the crossover between Perk and Chuck and Shaq and all that. Stephen A, obviously, they'll probably throw in as well. He'll be screaming and hollering as well. But yeah, this is big. Just don't. I have one request. Yes. And Voldy, you would agree with me on this too. Do not, if for any reason, do not have Draymond Green on if the Warriors don't make the playoffs. No one wants to hear from him. Do not put him on. Please. We don't want that to happen at all. So, just saying. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of Major League Baseball. Since the effects of Hurricane Milton tore the roof off of Tropicana Field, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays, the Rays have been in search of looking for a new place to host the team for the 2025 season. Yes, unfortunately, the roof at Tropicana Field will not be able to be repaired in time for the start of the season. That means that the Rays have to look elsewhere. They've tried looking at other major league facilities, things of that sort. But the best idea is that the Rays will be playing at the spring training facility site of the New York Yankees. That's right. They'll be playing at Steinbrenner Field, the Tampa-based spring training home for the division rival New York Yankees. That was announced for the 2025 season. The new stadium for Tampa Bay won't be ready until at least 2028. So the Rays will have to play at Tropicana for the time when that roof does get repaired. Who knows? But the Rays playing outside in Florida with very temperamental weather, as we've seen in the past, and obviously it rains heavily and it'll be fine after that. That will be quite the conundrum they will have. They will remain in Florida. I should say the Rays will remain in Port Charlotte, Florida for spring training before moving into Steinbrenner Field before the season starts on March 27th. Now, with that all being said, is it absurd to approve? Should the Rays have found a different location not associated with, obviously, a division rival, but also another major league franchise?
I'm kind of surprised that they haven't, to be honest with you, find something outside of that. I feel like they'd have more options, but to have to use the Yankees spring training field, I don't know about that. I'm not surprised on them not having the roof ready in time, just because I think, with that big of a hurricane and trying to find the right, stuff to put up on top of there. This isn't like a Metrodome thing. I think the Viking season, it was still going when that happened.
It was, yes. It was.
And, they couldn't, it took them a while. They didn't make the playoffs or anything, but
no, they did not.
In this situation, baseball, still a couple months out, but trying to get that done in that amount of time, that's tough. I feel like they'd have more options. I just think that did they not look hard enough, or is it just like, look, we just need somewhere to play, and the Yankees are like, oh, that's fine, whatever, we don't care. So, and again, they don't, by their attendance, there's not that many fans that go, and as we've said before. But, I almost want to say there's got to be more fields around that area where you can be able to do that. Just don't do it with a rival team that's in your division. And it seems like he said, okay, the Yankees are very helpful with it. Apparently, Hal Steinbrenner was like, yeah, go ahead and use it until that's ready. So, I'd say it's a little absurd, because you think you could find somebody. Someone's, I know, it's got to be the Yankees. We don't like the Yankees. So, I'd say a little absurd, just because, that's your team that you have to go up against, but whatever. All right. What do you got, Voldy?
If the Rays have had any troubles with filling seats at Tropicana, this place only holds 11,000. Every game is going to be a sellout. Just based off of the numbers with that, there's a lot of visiting fans that come down. You get the teams within division. Hey, let's go to Tampa for the weekend. The squad's in town or whatever. You throw that into the mix. It's unfortunate Tropicana Field did sustain the damage that it did because of the hurricane. You feel like there would be more options available. I don't understand why the Rays don't play at a minor league affiliate of theirs. They've got the Durham Bulls in North Carolina. That would be a great place to host some games. But I guess you throw in, obviously, the convenience of a home field advantage, if you will, on top of, standards for members of the team organization that have to travel and or possibly move. But you're telling me you couldn't pick a different affiliate to go to? Was it just the closest one that was there. I just don't understand why it'd have to be the Yankees minor league team for the Class A affiliate for the Yankees too. Seems a little bit lazy in my mind, but hey, you know what? Maybe they'll finally put some butts in some seats, even with it being outdoors. It would be interesting to see how the weather plays effect, especially with Florida, with it being obviously temperamental with rain and everything too down in that area. It should be. We'll probably see a lot of rainouts in Tampa than they have seen in years past. So very interesting. But I think it's absurd. They could have probably tried a little bit harder to find somewhere else to play other than a divisional rival.
Yeah. No, that's just personal preference on both our parts. So, they got a place to play. That's all that matters, I guess. So.
Yep.
All right. Next one, Volde.
Well, we stayed in the world of Major League Baseball as the first-time nominees to the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame ballot with 14 new candidates for consideration into Cooperstown was announced here earlier this week with some very notable names, including longtime outfielder Ichiro Suzuki, stud ace pitcher CC Sabathia, among many others that will be making their first appearance on the Baseball Writers ballot, needing that minimum 75% of the vote to enter the shrined halls of Cooperstown, New York. I did mention, of course, the likes of Ichiro and CC Sabathia, but other names have included Felix Hernandez, Carlos Gonzalez, Dustin Pedroia, Hanley Ramirez, to go along with Fernando Rodney, Ian Kinsler, Ben Zobrist, Troy Tulowitzki, Russell Martin, Brian McCann, and even Curtis Granderson, Adam Jones making their way onto the ballot for this year. With all that being thrown into it, of course, we did see the likes of Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Todd Helton get elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame last year. Billy Wagner just missed 5 votes away from getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame from last season. But of the notable names that are included for the first-timers on the ballot for the Hall of Fame, who do you think is of the top set? Gotta look at what I was going to phrase. Yes. Is it who will make it into the Hall of Fame on their ballot their first go-around?
God, there are so many names on here that I'm just like, I watched all of these guys play. Pretty much all of them. King Felix. You got Carlos Gonzalez, Dustin Pedroia, your guy. You're gonna
be a Hall of Famer.
You're gonna appreciate this. I have been watching that Netflix doc on the comeback. I remember watching. I think I watched every game when I was a kid. That series, and it was awesome. This
I don't
documentary
remember a goddamn thing about that series.
Really? Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. Didn't get fully back into watching sports until 2007, 2008. Right after the Red Sox won another
It's that
World
close,
Series.
yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Johnny Damon, Trot Nixon, Manny Ramirez, Manny being Manny.
Wakefield, rest in peace.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just the names that are on here it's just awesome. You got that Ben Zobrist. Remember watching Tulo, Russell Martin, Brian McCann, Curtis Granderson. Oh man, I'd probably say Felix, King Felix. I'd throw in there. Pedroia for sure. Hanley Ramirez. I'd say Fernando Rodney. Yeah, I could see it. Ian Kinsler. I think had a lot of injuries, if I'm not mistaken.
Like who's going to make it on their first ballot is the question. Like who do you say? Yeah. Like 2025 comes rolling around, who's making it on their first ballot?
Felix, for sure.
Okay,
I'd say Felix, King Felix on this. I believe Pedroia is very close second. But yeah, and again, the whole thing with the baseball writers and everything, it's just, it's bad. You know, it's just, give it to them. Like Torrey Hunter, they're leftover names. Torrey Hunter's on this list. Manny Ramirez, J. Rawl, A-Rod, well, that's because roids, but, yeah, there's just, oh man, it's messed up. It's messed up is what I'm saying. Yep. But, yeah, I'll take King Felix. So, we'll go with that.
What about Ichiro? Ichiro's on the list.
Oh yeah, Ichiro's on CC too. Damn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm changing Ichiro. Ichiro is amazing, man. Love me some Ichiro. So I'll go with Ichiro Suzuki. What do you got?
I mean, Ichiro, if he isn't going to be unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer along the lines of, I mean, I can't remember, was Derek Jeter a unanimous Hall of Famer? I think he had like one vote shy or something like that. Ken Griffey Jr. as well felt like two votes shy or something like that. Ichiro has got to be unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. No questions about it. I mean, just unreal with the way that he continued to play. It was some early good years in Seattle, fought them and kept baseball alive in the Northwest, and then kind of bounced around a little bit towards the tail end of his career, but still great outfield glove, great bat overall. That's the main thing people are going to remember from him is his production at the plate. CC Sabathia is a very interesting one. I think he is for sure a Hall of Fame pitcher. Is he a first ballot Hall of Fame pitcher? I think he was out there and he was a bulldog on the mound for sure. Big, tall, lanky, lefty as well. I mean, had some great years in Cleveland, had that amazing 2+ month stretch in Milwaukee to get them into the playoffs. I remember that vividly because DJ was playing hockey in Wisconsin at the time, and everybody had the Brewers fever out there, and that's what I started liking the Brewers too. It's like, okay, CC can rake a little bit. He's pitching on 3 days rest. He had like 8 or 9 starts, and he had like 8 or 9 complete games in that time frame for them. I think those two guys are for sure first ballot Hall of Famers. Then you look at some of the other guys. I mean, my guy Petey, I definitely see him as a Hall of Famer for sure. Gold Glove, just a gamer, Silver Slugger, MVP in like his second or third year in the league as well. For sure, a Hall of Famer. It may take him a couple of ballots because we're going to thin out the herd a little bit. Completely underrated player. If he stayed healthy, we'd be talking about him as one of the greats. And I'm not talking about Petey. Obviously, he's a great. But Troy Tulowitzki, you give the fact that he played in Colorado for a majority of his career, that hurts, obviously. But now we've seen guys like Todd Helton get into the Hall of Fame. Larry Walker as well, who played a good portion of his career in Colorado. But Troy Tulowitzki, if he stayed healthy in the back half of his career, for sure, Hall of Famer for sure. But I mean, there are a lot of other names. It's like, hey, great to see them on the ballot. I don't think they'll make it. Felix Hernandez, another one that's out there and ready. I think it'll take him a couple of ballots, like I said, to thin out the herd. But for sure, first ballot guys, definitely Ichiro. And I'm going to throw in CC as well, just kind of as a sneaky pick there for that first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, all good. The one guy that I quick want to bring up because I've been just watching baseball, in my younger years. Curtis Granderson was one of my favorite players. I know he played for the Tigers. Twins killer, yes. I wanted him to be a Twin. It's sometimes the Twins killers end up being on the Twins. Jim Tomei is a perfect example of that. He was a Twins killer. And, so was Granderson, and I was really hoping that they would get him. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But I think he deserves to be, I don't know about first ballot, but I think he deserves a Hall of Fame spot. So we will see what happens with that. And are you good for the next one, Voldy?
Yes, just had to get little man situated here. Someone's getting a little tired from after a long day.
Yes.
From one Hall of Fame to the next, the semifinalist list for modern era candidates to the 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame have been announced, and obviously big notable names on there, including the likes of Eli Manning, but other names have included the likes of Jared Allen, former Viking, former Bear as well. And you can also throw in former Chief and former Carolina Panther. You got James Harrison. You got Antonio Gates, Rodney Harrison, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, as I mentioned, Steve Smith Sr., T. Sizzle, Terrell Suggs. I mean, you got Earl Thomas, Adam Vinatieri, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne. I mean, Vince Wilfork, Steve Wisniewski, even Darren Woodson. Just some of the more notable names on the list of 25 of the 25 semi-finalists that will be on the Pro Football Hall of Fame list. Of course, it is usually down to about 3 to 5 players be getting into the modern era candidates. Of course, they do need about 80% of the vote from the committee to be able to get in. The full selection committee will reduce that list down from 25 to 15, and that will be at the Super Bowl, just before the Super Bowl, when they produce the new class coming up, of course, for 2025. Now, on this list of names that we've seen here, who do you think will make it further into the round of finalists and finally make their way and get their bus in Canton, Ohio, coming up here next year? Who will make it into the next round off this list?
Well, I've seen a lot of busts, that's for sure, this couple summers ago, which was awesome. 50, so they bring it down to 15 just before the Super Bowl, like you said, Voldy. And looking at these names, it is so hard to take out some of these guys. But let me quick go through it. Eric Allen, yes, I think he should. Jared Allen, our guy, roping up quarterbacks like nobody's business. A lot of great moments with Jared Allen. He is going to retire a Viking, confirmed.
Hell yes.
I think he moves on. Willie Anderson, I'll give him one. So 3 in a row. Anquan Bolden, I think, misses this year, but could be back next year as well. I'm going to do the same with Jari Evans. Antonio Gates, I think, is going to go in there, so I got 4 right now. Rodney Harrison, I'll go 5. Torrey Holt, 6. Kuechly. I'm gonna one more year, and I think eventually he'll get in. Eli Manning. I hate to do this, Foley, but yeah, I
do it.
Just because of the popularity setting with that too. Robert Mathis. I think that's a little wait and see too. Steve Smith Sr. Yes, that's an easy one right there. T Sizzle, absolutely. Fred Taylor, yes, I'm going to go, so I'm at 9. Adam Vinatieri, yeah, I'll go 10. Hines Ward, 11, yes. Ricky Waters, yes, 12. I think there's going to be another year to wait for Reggie Wayne. Richmond Webb, don't know too much about. Wolfork, I think will wait a little bit. Wisniewski, Woodson, Yonda, I think all move on. And I'm probably wrong on that one. I just think there's a lot of names on this list. Earl Thomas, I think, is going to wait another year as well, but he was a dog too, so he was really good.
For sure.
So yeah, that's what I got. I see that. But Jared Allen, we want Jared Allen on to the next round. He's more than deserving. I think he will be in the hall here this upcoming year. So, all right, Shield, Tate, what do you got?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some names we could probably take off the list. I mean, you can throw, unfortunately, Freddie T, Fred Taylor, Earl Thomas, maybe Hines Ward, another year off for him. I don't know much about Richmond Webb as well. Maybe Wisniewski for another year. Wilfork will probably have to wait. Maybe Robert Mathis just on the outside. But, I mean, guys that I want to see get in this year. I'm going to give you 5 names I want to see get in this year. I'm going to throw in Marshall Yonda. I want to get that out of the way right off the bat. I mean, it was just a stalwart on the line for his time with the Ravens. I believe he might have played for the Colts. Don't quote me directly on that. I mean, Jared Allen for sure. So there's 2 guys. Rodney Harrison's got to go in because a lot of things have been thrown out. We talked about Harrison Smith earlier with, of course, talking about Hall of Fame Harry. There's like, I believe 8 or 9 safeties in NFL history that have 30 sacks, 20 interceptions. So there, I believe it was 9 guys. 7 of them are in the Hall of Fame. The other 2, Harrison Smith, Rodney Harrison. The only two guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame right now based off those numbers. Rodney Harrison gets in this year. I'm going to throw that out there. Look, just based off the fact that Eli Manning played in New York. If Eli Manning played in Houston or Tennessee, I don't think he'd be getting the same regard highly. I mean, yes, he did win 2 Super Bowls. Yes, he beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl in improbable fashion in that area. But if Eli Manning put up the same numbers he did in Tennessee, or let's just even say like Seattle, he's not a Hall of Famer. Definitely not. No way whatsoever. But yes, he won 2 Super Bowls. He played in New York, and he just so happens to be in a quarterback powerhouse that is the Manning family. Eli Manning is going to be a Hall of Famer. There, I said it. Adam Vinatieri, the all-time NFL points leader, definitely getting in. Then you throw in a couple of guys, too. Reggie Wayne is a very interesting one. I mean, Marvin Harrison's in the Hall of Fame. You've got also fellow teammates. Peyton Manning is in there, too. You got Edgerrin James, former teammates with Reggie Wayne. I could see him sneak in somehow just based off the production and the numbers that he's put up in his time. He was the heir apparent to Marvin Harrison in Indianapolis. Played for some good teams, played for some bad teams in Indy, but stuck it out in multiple ways there. And I believe he's also coaching in Indy, if not in the NFL right now for a franchise. I definitely see him being a factor for sure. Those are the guys I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Jared Allen. I'm going to go Rodney Harrison, Eli Manning, Vinatieri, Reggie Wayne.
The trade that the Vikings made at that time for Jared Allen was one of the best trades they've made in years. And Pat Williams, Kevin Williams going to pick him up at the airport is just quintessential Minnesota Vikings. And again, that 09 team, just amazing. I'm with you. And again, like, if I'm wrong on some of them, so be it. Like, I think all of them are deserving, for sure. All of them. I think all of them are deserving. So, at some point, these guys will get in if they don't. So, all right. Last one, Volde.
Well, we stay in the world of the National Football League. Well, sort of, but we make a sidetrack to college football, as it was announced here earlier this week that the Florida Atlantic University let go their head coach, Tom Herman. Notably, former stops include Texas and Houston. Fired after going 6-16 over 2 seasons and currently 0-6 in the American Athletic Conference this year. Now that opens up the opportunity for another head coaching position for the likes of college football. But one name that has stepped out and kind of led its way as being a potential candidate for a head coach at Florida Atlantic down in, of course, the Miami side of things down in Florida. That includes former Ravens linebacker and Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, Ray Lewis, of all people. The 49-year-old has been floated out there as a potential candidate. Former Georgia Southern coach Chad Lunsford is currently serving as the interim coach at FAU. But very interesting, given the pedigree that we've seen in coaches past, with the likes of Deion Sanders jumping from into college football as a head coach. Now we saw at least a somewhat of a try for Ed Reed to become a head coach at Bethune-Cookman, but that was negated by, I believe, the board at the time, which was still very interesting. But Ray Lewis out there, could that even be somewhat of a potentiality coming up here into next year? Is it absurd or proof? Could we see Ray Lewis become a top-notch coaching hire in years to come, if not next year?
Ooh, that's a great question. The reason why I say that is because, I mean, he's gone through hell this past few years too, the death of his son and whatnot, and you know, like, I think for that, and obviously, you know, he's obviously a Hall of Famer and he's one of the best to ever do it. Him being a coach, I think, fits what he was as a player. And I think he would be a coach you would want to play for, not only play for, and root for as well. Not being on the outside looking in. Like, if he were to be the coach at FAU, I'd be so for it. I think he would be a fantastic coach. Now, it begs the question, well, what about the NFL? Well, I think it's possible. I don't know if, it depends on what he would want to do. And, obviously he's gone through a lot and with everything right now. And, I wouldn't be shocked. I think it would be something to where, he can build that resume as a coach and, kind of go from there. But I also know, too, that it seems like a little bit of a long shot for him to, go with college and whatnot. But I also know that, the guy can do whatever he wants. It's quite apparent. And he's an absolute gem of a human being, even, through his NFL career, after his NFL career and whatnot. It wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't shock me if Ray Lewis were to be a head coach at FAU, and then kind of seeing where it goes from there. So yeah, stamp of approval. If he's hired as head coach, hell yeah, let's do it. So, Voldy, what do you got?
This is a very interesting one. He does have the connections, of course, being from Florida, and the connections to the program being in Boca Raton from his playing days down in Miami. Also, Ray Lewis as a coach is a very interesting proposition. Usually you'd see guys kind of make their way through the ranks a little bit, maybe come on as a assistant analyst or something like that. Like Warren Sapp right now. He's an assistant defensive line coach with Colorado, with Deion Sanders. That's been something that he is working on here this year, and it's proven very well with how Colorado has played this season. But Ray Lewis is a head coach. We know he's got the talk. Can he walk the walk at the college level? Now, with it being a little bit of a, I wouldn't say, a top-notch program, but there have been some coaches that have come out of FAU in recent years. Up until he was at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin was head coach at FAU. He put together some players. He had Shadur for a hot second down at FAU, had him committed, ready to go before Deion pulls the trigger and goes to Jackson State, brings his boys with him as well. But there have been some playmakers that have come at FAU, kind of I don't want to say like a feeder program, but definitely a program that is not to be taken lightly in many areas. A lot of top-notch coaches have come through that program in the last, I want to say, at least decade for sure. One of them being Lane Kiffin. Tom Herman, unfortunately, has been kind of snake bit ever since his days at Houston. Then going to Texas, kind of falling on the sword there. And now at FAU, well, formerly at FAU, hasn't been good. It's very interesting what kind of coaches he'll surround himself with, if it's going to be with obviously old teammates, or if it's going to be obviously coaches that have made an impact on his life, or at least have coached the game to a high level. I think that'll be something worth noting. But this is all purely speculation at this point. But I think it would definitely be a top-notch coaching hire for sure if you bring in a guy like Ray Lewis into that program. And if he surrounds them with the right coaches, we could very well see great production out of FAU. And it's got my stamp of approval. But as a quick side note as well, I saw in news, too, that the University of Charlotte fired their head coach. You know who's serving as interim head coach down there, Matt?
Who's that?
Tim Brewster.
Oh, my God. No way. No way. Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
I thought he was with Deion. I thought
so too. I guess they wanted to move on, or he found a better opportunity. But either way, Tim Brewster is a college head coach once again, even on the interim.
Oh boy, there's a lot of people in Minnesota that would be very interested in that. That's for sure.
Score update as well. Granite
yes.
City up 4-1, second period, so we're moving in the right direction.
Dub incoming. Great job with ARA this week, Voldy. Actually,
thank you, sir.
I almost forgot. Guess who is the offensive coordinator at Colorado right now?
Yeah, that's Pat Shurmur.
That's right. Yes, yep. Pat Shurmur, our guy. Again, he was a fantastic offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings that 2017 season with
Someone
your guy.
Been watching Coach Prime on Amazon Prime. I can't believe it.
Case Keenum, the whole deal. Awesome. Anyway, great job with the ARA this week, as always, Voldy. And it's time for some Shield shout-outs. Shield's got a couple shout-outs tonight. So I say we get it going with some Shield shout-outs.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, Tate, who ya shouting at tonight?
Well, we do have to send a shout out to Progressive Insurance and their great commercials highlighting some of the great quarterbacks that have been backup in a majority of their career. If you have been paying attention on NFL Sundays or just in general, backup quarterbacks have been well established. Seeing the great commercial by the legendary backup quarterback, Case Keenum. You've seen also the likes of Colt McCoy, Josh Dobbs recently, but even most recently, I believe on the Monday night game I was watching, we saw former Tom Brady clipboard holder, that being Jacoby Brissett, serving as a bit of a acting role in his commercial for Progressive. So got to send a big Shield shout out to the great backup quarterbacks and making themselves even more well known with their commercial appeal for Progressive Insurance. And that's going to do it for Shield shout outs this week.
All right. We love it. The backup quarterbacks. And again, two of them were Vikings. So that's interesting tidbit as well. So great job with Shield shout-outs this go-around, Voldy. And
Make
real
it 5-1
quick.
now, Granite City.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Peter.
Wave the white flag already.
Oh, stop. He's already dead.
He's already dead. Great job, Shield shout-outs. This weekend, or this weekend, oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. This week, Voldy, and you guys know the deal. There's no prize this week, so and congratulations to RJ Wilson from Iowa. He's getting that Percy Harvin authentic jersey, so probably slip back. There we go. You'll be getting that hopefully tomorrow. We'll send that off to you. And we are looking forward to you getting that. We will add maybe some other things in there as well. So get your picks in. That's a reminder to get your picks in. We're getting down to it now, guys. We are really getting close to the end of the season. Get your picks in so you can win the Zona bundle, win some signed helmets. Breece Hall, Drake London, Terrell Davis.
Hey,
and
you
also
remembered this week.
Yeah.
All right.
The mini helmets, by the way.
Yep.
It's going to be sweet. So make sure you get that in. Obviously, the Zona bundle will be factored in as well, and we will get that to you. So with that being said, we got a lot of merch, guys. It's freaking snowing already. Get your sweatpants, get your quarter zips, get your winter hats, your tumblers. The MinneZona tumblers. Get this hat even. I mean, shoot, might as well. And to keep the snow out of your face or, but it doesn't cover your ears. Whatever. You can still wear it. We got stickers as well and the shirts. So just let us know. We'll get it to you. Shout out to W2 Performance, our guy, Will Rattel at www.w2performance.com. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers. Make sure you check out our guys, the Brotherly Ballers podcast. New episode just came out today. Tyler Herman, Jack Vickers. They're really fighting hard in that MinneZona Fantasy Football League. So
Yeah, they are.
They're tough. They're tough to beat. That's for sure. So make sure you check out get all your fantasy football advice from those guys. So TLS Performance, our guy Troy Stoudemire Jr. doing some awesome things as well. And then make sure you check out the Popcorn Bucket List. Nick Dahlhoff, Ryan Meyerberg of the Rhino. You know the deal. And Omni Entertainment as well. So. With that being said, thank you to Mitch Ribby for coming on. And, Mitch was like, bear down. He's going to have, the skull emojis when he, as he said, when the Bears beat the Vikings, things like that. No, it's going to be straight cash, homie. Vikings are going to get that dub. That's all I got to say. They're going to get that dub. They're going to move. They're going to finally play a game at home. It's been a couple weeks. They played in Jacksonville. They played in Tennessee. then they get back to U.S. Bank Stadium after this game on Sunday in Chicago. So Skull Vikes, row the boat. Ski-U-Mah, go Gophers. They got Penn State this week after losing to Rutgers a couple weeks ago. They had a bye last week. We got that. Well, go Wolves, go Wild. Wild are kicking ass right now, too. So, make sure you check that out. The Frost are going to be starting up here soon, too. So, keep a lookout. It's awesome stuff. So, without further ado, as always, remember, folks, keep it in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.